Actually, there are you can uh, do subsections of this. So there's literature search, literature review, and synthesis of literature. So all of these three things are different things and significantly different things, but you can't achieve the second and third step unless you are able to do a literature search. So what's the most common thing that we want to do when we search? Uh, I guess most of the people who are attending today would be between the ages of 25 to 30, or yeah, actually maybe 28 to 32. So most of you all are born in what would be the internet generation. So most of you will be born beyond 1995 when internet became kind of available and people started searching the internet. So prior to 1995, if you wanted to do a literature search, you actually had to go physically to the library, pick up big books which are called as index medicus at that point of time, and search physically through various references in the library. So when you wanted to do literature search, you actually ended up going to the library. So today, when you do a literature search, no one in the world actually goes physically to the library, but you should have access to library resources. So that's very important. So that's the main part of literature search. Today, when somebody wants to do any search, they would actually go and do a Google search. So that's the most simplest kind of search. But Google search will show you lots of uh, inane things, wrong things, and social media and so on and so forth. So that's not where you want to go when you want to do a literature search or an academic search. The next best thing is actually Google Scholar. And Google Scholar is not really good because it is like a collection of academic articles everywhere, and it will also pick up what is called as grey literature or fraudulent literature, which is available. And so you may not get the best of things which is there, but it's not a bad place to also kind of search when you want to do a wide search. So the best place for medical people to do a literature search is actually PubMed. And the only point is it has a less number of journals which are indexed in PubMed, and so maybe 5,000, 6,000 journals. So you don't have a large number of journals that are which are kind of indexed in PubMed. So journals which are not indexed by PubMed, if you search PubMed, you will not find those articles. You'll find those articles on Google's Scholar, but you will not find them on PubMed. PubMed will not have any predatory journals. So in Google Scholar, we will have a lot of predatory journals which are kind of paid for journals per se. Other better sources or other good sources which have more journals is Embase. Embase is a library of uh, 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 journals which is curated by Elsevier. It is around 15,000 journals per se. Access to Embase is not possible unless you have paid subscription. And I don't know of anyone in India who has access to Embase per se. So Embase is not kind of available to us. Another place where you can do a search, and I will try and show you search in Scopus is Scopus. Scopus is again Elsevier, and it is available to some of us. I have access to it, and I'll show you how we can do. Then there is Cochrane Central, which you would want to use. Then, if you are doing nursing literature search, or you have your research topic is related to nursing interventions, where you expect more nurses to have nursing community to have published, then there is something called as CNHEL, which is there. And so these are the various resources that people use for literature search. If you want to search for research topics which have not been published but are likely to be done, or research that is likely to be performed, then you would search things like CTRI, which is Clinical Trials Registry of India. And similarly, in the US, you will have controlled trials. So you will have various places where trials are registered. You would want to search that area also, and you can reference them also. So with that brief overview, I'll start off with this. So literature review, I will not go basically where you're looking at what has happened previously, etc. So this is something which is not part of today's presentation. But the reason you would want to do literature review is something which you want to do. I would want to speak about. Uh, if you are trying to do, you would be trying to do a literature search for two most common reasons. One is three, maybe three most common reasons. One is you have a patient in the NICU, and you want to find out what is the latest for treatment for this particular aspect, or how to go about diagnosing this, or you have a clinical query which is there. then you can use literature review, or you can do a PubMed review. I'll try and show how we can do that for various things. The second one, what you want to do is, if you are trying to prepare for a presentation, you're trying to prepare a seminar, etc., then again you can do a literature review, and that would be a slightly different literature review as compared to when you're trying to do something for a research project. So if you're trying to do a literature review for a research project, and you want trying to do an in-depth literature review, that would also be different. So whenever I want to search something on PubMed, I would have, depending upon what my reason is for searching the PubMed, whether it's a clinical case or a clinical query which is there, or it is something which is related to uh, a seminar that I want to present, or a lecture that I want to present at some place, and I want to find out data related to that. And third would be where we would have I want to do a research project in that particular area. So those the amount and depth of time that you want to spend on each of these literature reviews would differ significantly. Uh, and when you're doing research, you want to really find out all the research that has been done that in that area, mainly because you don't want to duplicate something which has been done time and over again. Okay. So try and avoid repeating something which has been already done similarly in your area. Uh, Doing literature review allows you to find out what has not been done and what is the gap in research in that particular area. So that it would be interesting for you to do, and also find out what are the various views on that subject. So I will not go into this because I don't want to discuss literature review. I will just look at. So this, you can take a screenshot of this. I will see if this allows you to click. Whether you can get. Okay, this is not allowing me to click. So this, if you can take a screenshot of this particular, and I can share this with the faculty members so that you can kind of pick it up from the chat. Maybe I'll see if I can share it in the chat. I don't know whether participants have access to the chat. So this is, I'm sending it over, and you can copy it from the chat. So the reason why I have shared this is it is a link to a video. It is a link to a video on literature review. Okay, so let me just see. I'll just show you that.
Search separately. Okay. All your abstracts will show. Now I will send this full abstracts, all these abstracts to email ID.
So
okay.
this is
you
a
can see
literature review which is there, which you can see.
Okay.
So this is a lecture on literature review which is there. If you search for lecture on review of literature, you will get most of the slides that I'm presenting are there in that particular literature review. So you can search on YouTube for this, and you'll find this.
So you all should actually create an account
on
and
YouTube.
log into PubMed. So you can actually sign into PubMed.
So I'll be taking part of the lecture, but I will not be because it's a very long lecture. So now going back to the slides, PowerPoint slide. Okay, now we have done this. So we're trying to look at previous areas of your research. You can have broad areas. So you will have to narrow your search. When you're doing a search, you will have to narrow your search. I'll show you how you narrow the search later on. Okay, so we have discussed this. Okay, so these are the main reasons repetition of study you shouldn't do. You should be able to have proper objectives and sharpen your research question. And you can even change the design of your study if some similar study has been done. So when is literature search to be done? So before beginning of a research study, which I discussed. Also, if you're doing a study over a 2-year period or a 3-year period or maybe 1.5-year period, I know most of you are fellows, so you do it over a 1-year period. But if you're doing a MD or a DM thesis, then you are actually doing a research over a 1 to 1.5 to 2-year period. And so when you begin the study and you have taken 2 years, the research projects ideally stretch for very long periods of time. So they can stretch for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. So when you started the study, you had certain amount of data that was published. But when you reach the middle of the study, it is likely that somebody was doing a similar study like you, and has already published, or there is some more literature that is available, which you might want to consider before progress, what do you say, continue with your study. So an interim search is also necessary, and also at the time of publication, because there might have been many more articles that are related to your research that have been published, and so you want to utilize those publications in a discussion, and they might be relevant to your discussion. So that is the point of time that you would want to do a literature search. So when you do a literature search, you should be able to organize your articles. So you should know from which source it has come, what are the problem scopes which are there, methods, procedures which have been utilized in that particular study, various analysis, results of discussion in each studies. So you will want to utilize various articles for various parts of your paper or your thesis. So you should be able to highlight in each article what are you going to use this article for. So this is how you would kind of uh, put your put a literature review in context. So there is this I mentioned earlier. Is it exhaustive? Are the parameters of the review reasonable? So when you're looking at the review, and is primary literature emphasized in the review and secondary literature, and whether the sources are from reputable or refereed journals. So this is something very important which people don't kind of consider. I see a lot of MD students, many faculty members publishing in predatory journals, and it causes two issues mainly. One is you're publishing a good paper in a fraudulent journal, if because the research might be actually good, and when you do that, when people want to publish. So if you ask me to reference a a paper from a fraudulent journal, I will never reference it. If I am an editor for a journal, and or if I am a reviewer of a paper, if I find that a predatory journal has been cited in the paper, then it would be important for us to, I might say that you should remove that article from a citation, or we will just reject the paper. So that becomes very important. So when you publish in the fraudulent paper, basically a good study might just go waste. And whether you have looked at any recent developments and all so forth. So this is again similar. So how is your review organized? So I'll skip this because again, this is related to literature review. And so this is in general how your literature review looks like. So what are your various sources, whether on the hand searching, which is mentioned over here, the hand searching which is mentioned over here is actually when you go to the library and search it from the library. Otherwise, it's from databases. So which I mentioned, these databases, Medline, various citation indexes, etc. Gray literature. So gray literature is something which is from various databases, internet, or even say Google Scholar or other places, and from conference proceedings and so on and so forth. So these are again different places from where you can get your sources. So good search is very important, and very important to critically review literature. This is which was there. Now coming to our main source, which is PubMed. So what I'll do is I'll shift to PubMed, and I will do a search on there for a minute, and then I'll come back to the presentation. Okay, so you will see me going to PubMed. Give me just a minute. Huh? So I'll be sharing the. You can see my browser, right? You can see my browser currently.
Yes,
And
sir.
you can see, let me see what you can see. Okay, so you can see various tabs, and I will go to PubMed. This is a place where you commonly search. Okay. How many of you all have accounts on PubMed? It's very important to have an account on PubMed because of various reasons. So I will log in over here. Okay, it says login again with ORCID. It is always previously used to have an email login on PubMed, but now they made it a third party login. I hope everyone has an ORCID number also. It is very important to have it. So now you can see that this is my personal account, and you can see that there is this landing page of PubMed. See how this particular when you go to the page, you can see this about PubMed FAQ and user guide. So this is actually, it has the PPT. Some of my PPT slides are from this user guide which are here, and how to find about full text. And then there is this advanced search, clinical queries, single citation matches, and so on and so forth. So now I will, because it's a this, if I want to do this entire presentation, it will take probably 3-4 hours, but we'll just go through a few things. I will go to clinical queries. So this is, if you click on this, you can look at this. This is, you can put your search terms here, and this is mainly for if you're looking at diagnosis of a particular case. Okay, if you're looking at etiology of a particular case, prognosis, therapy. So this is specifically for your clinical case discussions, the clinical queries that you encounter in the ICU or in your clinical practice. And this is not so much for research. So I will, let's say therapy. Let's say this is what you'll get. And if you look at all the articles, if I want to see all the articles in PubMed, this is just about 1,219 articles. So, as you know, PDA is a very, I won't say controversial topic, but PDA is a topic which is kind of in fashion for maybe 40, 50 years. So the number of publications that you'll see there are actually a large number. Okay. But these are just 1,219 results, which talks only about the therapy of patent ductus arthrosis in preterm babies. So see what I've done, and looks at therapy and broad filter. Now, if I want to go back, if I want to go back and make the scope narrow, can I put the search again? I put the search again. It will show you only 214 articles. Okay, so you have a very specific search that is there for narrow. So this is kind of the simplest searches. You will miss out on a lot of articles, but if you're doing a search only for clinical management of a patient, this is more than sufficient. So if you want to look, instead of go to diagnosis, I'm just looking at same topic, and here you can see it's narrow diagnosis, and I do search. So I don't know how many of you use this, but I think this is something which you can use on a daily basis when you're doing management of patients. So you can see 91 articles only. If I go to broad, okay, and this is diagnosis. So remember 1,200, then it was something like 219, then it was 91, and now we're doing broad. Okay, so diagnosis broad. Look at this, 740. So the number keeps on changing upon what you're doing. So we go back to PubMed. All right, and now we looked at clinical queries. We can look at advanced search also. Yes, and we look at match database after some time. Then you go to advanced search. Okay, you can. So we have gone. We will not go to advanced search. We'll just go back to PubMed per se. So we looked at patent ductus arteriosus there. Patent ductus arteriosus preterm. And is this searching? We'll search this. You saw in the initial time when we did the clinical queries, it showed 1,200 results. Now it's showing 2,449 results. Okay. Now, how to use this? On the left side, you'll have multiple, what do you say, ways you can look at it. Now, you all know that all the articles are not free. Okay. For example, this particular article, Journal of Pediatrics 2024, most people will not be able to access it free. All right. Uh, Look at this one. This is Frontiers in Pediatrics, and it talks about free PMC articles. So this is free. Okay. Uh, this one also will be free because I know this particular journal. This one is free. So some articles are free, some articles are not free. But if you want to look at only free articles, you can just click on this, and from 2449, the number of articles will come down to maybe 1000 or 800. Okay, so 800. All right, see. So that Frontiers in Pediatrics, which is down the list, has come up because it is free. Okay, but what will this will do? What this will do is, if you are in a medical college or an institution which subscribes to say Elsevier or Springer Link or many of the other journals, which are libraries which are there, you'll miss out those articles if you click on free full text and if you're browsing from your hospital within your hospital browser. All right, so that is very, very important to understand. You'll miss out on those articles. This will be useful only if you don't have any access to any of the paid journals per se. Uh, if I want to look at only randomized controlled trials, then I might just put out this randomized controlled trials on PDA. You have 171 results. I want to look at randomized controlled trials in the last 5 years. It can reduce even further, 45 results. And so you can have additional filters. So there are additional filters that you can look at. So different filters are there for age, different age groups are there. You can see in my this, it's infant and newborn commonly, uh, various species and so on and so forth. You might want to do other animals when you want to do pure clinical research. So this is kind of in general where you can play with your particular search per se. Okay. Now let's go and see advanced. So when you go to advanced, what happens now? I'll clear off this. When you see advanced, see what you can see. You can see all the searches I've done in the last 5 minutes. And if you can save the search, you can save the search. There'll be a place where you can say that you can save the search. Okay, you can save the search. Uh, it says add to history. Once you add to history, it gets saved. All right. Now let's look at how we can kind of change all this. Uh, let's see, we can put author. Author. Okay. SM add. And you can say, uh, let's say kangaroo add. Okay. And let's say pain add. Basically, it's searching for, so it says kangaroo author. So these two things are wrong. So this maybe we can delete here. And you can put your field. Let's say we'll talk about mesh terms later on. Expert pain and kangaroo. You look at what is written over here. So it says SM Nimbarkar, who is published on pain and kangaroo, and I click on search. See what happens. It gives me one article which is published quite some time back. Now, why it is important to look at this is look at display option. Uh, so you can look at mesh. I'll just go back and show you what this has done. Look at this. There is this details over here. Okay, it shows details. Okay, so it talks about how this query was done. Let's look at another way of doing this. Let's look at. I'm not putting anything. Just putting this. Nothing. Just putting search. It shows you three results. Okay, it shows you three results. Why? because here it is just S. Nimbalkar, here it is S.M. Nimbalkar, here it is S. Nimbalkar. So in the previous only this was picked. Now because I have just put Nimbalkar, these three are picked. So remember how even one alphabet can make a big difference. Now, why it is important to look at this one is this. Look at this query details. Now, this is what is very important. So, when you're doing literature search for systematic reviews or meta-analysis, this becomes very important. This is what sometimes you have to put it in your methods key. What were the search terms we used and how it was done. So look at this Nimbalkar pain and or pain, and they looked at these are mesh terms. We'll look at medical subject headings which are mesh terms a little bit later. Okay, kangaroo or kangaroo. So all this field were used. Now let's just so this is how you can kind of what do you say uh, you can kind of work around your user guide. Now I will show something else. Now let's look at this. I'm just doing let's go back. Let's see if we have. We'll go back to PubMed and advanced. Okay, advanced. Let's say all fields. Name, AMC, and let's put search. Look at this 101 results. Okay, pain and KMC. Now, what will happen with KMC? This is cancer pain guidelines. We are not interested in this. Why this has been picked up? Because this will probably be from a medical college which has KMC. So none of these are, this one is probably kangaroo mother care. Okay, so this is wheel running. So you have to understand whether your system, your search terms are acting correctly or not. This is KMC again. Now, if I put this for newborn, look at this 101 results. Let's put newborn. You go to 21 results right away. All right. So this is kind of how you can play around uh, with your uh, with your search. Now, if you are a student and you have to share your search with somebody else, you can actually email it to somebody. So you can email it to from so and so to so and so all results in page. So this will go to my email ID. Okay, this will go to my email ID, and it is in a summary format. I can also put it in abstract format. Okay, I can include mesh and other data, and I can send email. Okay, now these are 21 papers. Now look at what happens when I send email. I have this is sent by NCBI. This is my email. You can see my email ID. You can see all the abstracts have come up here. This all comes straight to your email ID. So you can share it with your colleague who is there, or you can share it with your professor. So they have the entire thing with them. Yes, so that is what I showed you you can also save it as a text document. You can save it as a text document.
So it's already 8:30, sir.
Okay, I'll share the other slide in a minute. You can create a file, and you can see this is downloaded to my laptop. All right, and we can send it. You can send it. Let's see what happens. क्यों नहीं जा रहा है? Send it to. You can send it to now. It says my bibliography collections and citation manager. So what is all this? This is basically my personal dashboard. You can see this is your various things which are there. I can search from this also. These are all my various studies which I have done, and I have done and kept their collections over here. This is my bibliography. This is my particular publications where I have saved. Okay, and here it says no recent activity. I don't know why. So look at this. You can search various databases. Now, why it is important about this? There is this something called as OMIM. Okay, OMIM. OMIM is online Mendelian inheritance in man. What do you want to search over here? So let's say uh, macrocephaly. microcephaly. Okay, bifid vertebrate. So when you get patients with multiple abnormalities, I can just put this search over here, and let's see if we get any particular syndromes. When you get clinical findings which tell you some syndrome, so when I put these two things, macrocephaly and bifid vertebrae, see what syndromes I've got. Okay, now let's put this one. Okay, and look at what it shows. This is something again which is useful for pediatricians per se. Okay. It is asking me to donate. I'm not donating anyway. So this is your phenotype number, inheritance, etc., and so on and so forth. See, skeletal anomaly, impaired intellectual syndrome, and so on and so forth. Okay, brachycephaly. So it tells you various things which are there, which you may or may not get involved. So if you have a patient who's there, you what do you say? You input the data in this OMIM search thing. You will get you are likely to diagnose a particular patient. So it gives a whole lot of details of this particular patients. Okay, so this is from the clinical viewpoint. We are not interested currently in that. We want to go to PubMed. Let's go back to PubMed. Okay, so we were looking at mesh. Mesh is you saw that I have searched for kangaroo care. I have searched for pain. Now there is something you want to search. You want to search all the articles on neonatal pain. So look at what I'm doing. This is mesh over here. Okay, we already searched OMIM. We are searching now medical subject headings. So when I search neonatal pain, no items found. So let's look at pain. Let's look at kangaroo, AMC. It's showing something else. What is this? Support kangaroo. So you can see in kangaroo there are five things. So these are all other things are not related to us, but this is something which is related to us. You can see it is year introduced in 2012. Okay, and you can see this now. This is what it tells you. Now, very important that if I want to find out all the papers that are related to kangaroo mother care, and which have been indexed. So how this happens is when I submit a paper that is related to kangaroo mother care, people in PubMed, people working in that particular department, this is a US based website, they will kind of index it or tag it with kangaroo mother care method. So when I search through this, I will get all of them. So I can just put this add to search builder. So restrict to major mesh topic, add to search builder. So you get major topic and I just search. So look at, see, there are 85 papers which are there, which are related to kangaroo mother care. Okay, so all those articles have come over here. All right. So this is how we get now. I said we will kind of look at this is one of our articles which has got published, which has come over here. So let's go back here. And instead of putting in restrict to major topics, we will just put as say these are the various parts which are there. I don't know how this has come, but let's say economics. Add to search and economics. Then let's search PubMed. We all tend to say that it is free and it is cheap and also see this. Caregiving can be costly, comparing immediate care and cost effectiveness and so on and so forth. So this is all which is there. So this is related to cost savings of kangaroo mother care. So that's how the mesh terms are kind of utilized. If you put history, it will show it something else, and you will have relevant papers which are there. So this is in short how mesh things are being used. So now coming back to what I wanted to share. So when you have this particular when you are, let's go back to format. I'll tell you what I want to do. Okay. Say I'm looking at breastfeeding. I don't know how many of you have Zotero on your phone, on your laptop. Zotero. So you can see Zotero is something. All of you should download Zotero and utilize it. Okay. So maybe you're not seeing Zotero. I'll show you Zotero. So you can see Zotero over here. Okay, so you can see Zotero. So you can see something Bempo over here. Okay. I don't know how much you can see. So Bempo you can see, and you can see all of this papers over here. There would be how many articles? Let's look at this. Roughly 23 items. Why is this important? I'll tell you why it is important. I will go back, stop searching, sharing this. I'll go back to my, that was Bempo. Okay. You can see this over here. So this is the paper that I was referencing. Okay. So this is a paper that we have published some time back. And you can see there are some 27 articles per which have been referenced. You can see Azad, Charpak, and so on and so forth. When you go back to,
So you're not sharing the screen.
oh sorry. So this is the article which I was mentioning, Bempo. As you can see, this was published last year. And when I go down, this is freely available. When I go down, you can see the number of references. 27 or so. And when we go back to our Zotero, and this you can see this Bempo, and you can see these 23 items that have been selected. Okay, so there are these references. Why is this important? Because all of these are very used during the writing of that particular article. So depending upon what you're doing, you can kind of utilize this particular. So everyone should learn how to use Zotero which is a reference management software. You should download it from the net. It's freely available. You can download it, and then you should also install. The browser that I'm using is the Firefox browser, as you can see, and there's an extension over here which looks at which is a Zotero extension. You can see the extension over here. See over here. This I don't know if you can see. This is Zotero. Wait, I have not shared. I realize. All right, it is shared. Okay, it is shared.
No, we can't see, sir. You need to
No, no,
uh,
I'm sharing Zotero instead of
okay.
this. Wait, what are you saying? Okay, you're still seeing.
So you need to go to my Firefox and share.
Okay, now you can see, right?
Yes.
You can see over here. You can see over here there is this. I don't know if you can read. Can you see this save to Zotero Nature Publishing Group?
We can read it, sir.
Okay, you can read. Now I think there's a problem with this share. Let me see if I can do a double share. Let me try that. Hold on. Okay. What can you see? What can you see? Depend.
We can't see nothing, sir. Only two screens we can see. Blank.
Blanks.
Blank
Oh,
two screen.
all right, all right, all right. Now you are seeing. Now what you can see?
Your PPT.
No, you can see. Now you can see what?
Where is the full text available from the publisher? Slides.
You're seeing slides now?
Yes, sir.
You're not seeing. Okay,
Now
okay.
two screens are visible, sir.
Okay, good, 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 good. So I wanted that. So you can see two screens are visible, right? Right. That is what I wanted to you all to see. So now what you can see is this is a free now what I have done, this is on the right hand side is your Zotero, okay, and on the left hand side is my browser, okay. I have Zotero installed on my laptop. I have told you about Bempu. I have already have 23 articles which are kept there. Now look at what happens. Now when this is your एक्सटेंशन कहाँ गया मेरा? अभी यहाँ पे था तो सही कहाँ गया? अपडेट फुल स्क्रीन में था वो यार अभी. Okay, you can see Zotero connector here.
Yes, sir.
So when I click that, it says saving to Bempu, and you can see that here on the right side something has changed. You can see right side something has changed, and see what happened. Oh, I will just share Zotero right now. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
This is, I have clicked on this and you can see this. This is the impact of hypothermia, the one article which I was looking at. So this is our article. This article has now come over here and you can see here there is a PDF sign. All right. So what has happened is this article, if I click on this, it will open the PDF. So basically when I clicked on this extension on the browser, automatically the article got downloaded. Now why this article got downloaded? Because of two reasons. One, it is freely available. All right. Now let's look at an article which is not freely available. Let's go back to PubMed. Okay. Look at Kangaroo Mother Care. And there's an article which was I think Journal of Pediatrics. Uh, let's look at an article which is not free, which is an older article and not free. Okay. So this is Acta Pediatrica. Okay. This is 2023. This is
Zotero is currently on the screen, not your browser.
not a browser. Huh? Oh. Now you can see. Now you can see two shared screens.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, okay, this is, so I was trying to tell you that we look at an article which is there, but which is not freely available. Okay, let's look at, this looks like it is, this one would not be freely available. This is all right. This is from Aarti Maria. This is published in a journal which is not fully available. So let's see if I click on this, what happens. You are seeing my, oh no, this will go to my ID. There's no point in this because I have access to it. Uh, let's look at doing this. So what happens now? You have this particular article. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the extensions, and I'm clicking on this, and you'll see that this thing go to the Zotero. Keep a note on what happens on the right side. Okay, saving to Zotero PubMed, saving to Bempu. You can see it has gone here. And you can see here error Sci-Hub PDF not available. Everyone knows what is Sci-Hub. I guess everyone knows what is Sci-Hub. So, but ये कहाँ गया आर्टिकल अभी? ये कब का आर्टिकल है? 2023 में. ये changes in cerebral hemodynamics. So this is one. So we have not got this particular article per se from here, but it sometimes you might get. Let's see if we can get some other articles. That is the main thing that I wanted to share. Let's look at. This is pediatrics. Okay, this again is not available to us free of charge. Okay, let's see if it is available free. This is free. There's no point in looking at this particular article. We're not just looking at a free article, we're just looking at a paid article. Okay, let's see this. So this, it takes a lot of time. I'm just taking a lecture, but it takes a lot of time. And these people are saying that this particular article is not available free. They're asking you to pay for it, right? All right. So now what we do is I will put this and say that I want to add this. So I'm adding this to Bempo. You can see, where is that? It's again DOI is missing, immediate skin to skin care contact. DOI is missing. So let's go to DOI and see if we can go back and maybe add this one again. Okay. Many times you'll get the thing article easily on this. ये कौन सा वाला? ये वाला है. Okay. All right, let's go back now. So Exoter is something which you should use because this allows you to kind of easily access. So I'll stop this sharing and I will go to another PPT which is there, which I mentioned. I will start, and already now we are at almost 8 o'clock. Okay, this is the one which I wanted to share. I don't know how many of you all use Twitter. So I will not speak much, but you can look at the slides. This is available on X. Okay. So you should not be doing this ideally, but something here that there is a possibility of integrating two things. Okay, so you can read off the screen, but I am telling you that you may not do this because it is not correct. So this is a website which you can go to, which I went to. Okay, and you can run it. It is easily available. Okay, so it kind of works. I have tried this and it definitely works. Okay, and this is the integration between Zotero and a website which is there, which allows you to download full text. Okay, so if you can see this, you have to exactly follow how this is to be done. I can share this PDF, this PPT with the pen, and you can share it with everyone else. This is something very, 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 very easily done. Okay, but as the person who's posting it and telling you that you should not actually do it. So in many ways. So that's there on Zotero. The point what I want to mention is you should be able to use Zotero seamlessly. If you're not able to use Zotero seamlessly, then it's a problem. But this is something which is very useful, which I wanted to share. Now we have about 5 minutes, so maybe I'll just rapidly go through some slides. And we have done all of this. So we looked at publisher free, and so you can see my PPT, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so these are all. So preprints is something which is there, which is all the rage in COVID, where you could get a lot of full text on online through Twitter. Okay, so we looked at all this, how this is done. So I told you that you can use it on mobile. I have done all this for you live. Okay, done all this for you live using what we commonly do for our particular field. So there are full text links, which I told you over here. You can see free PMC article. There is a PMC icon and so on and so forth. So this we have done. Okay, you can look at the marker moving. You can also share it, and you can look at various parts of that article. So then there is complementary. You can look at how the site text is cited. You can also cite it. All right. Then otitis media treatment. You can have, there is a graph on the left hand side, a number of papers that have been published, which I often use. I talk to you about how you can uh, send it also. Okay, save email, send to, we have talked it. We can also change the way we look at it, and this gives you a summary of what is there in the paper. This I have showed you how to use it in actual uh, live situation. All right, so you can share it and so on. So I have showed you all of this. Okay, you can look at best match or latest one, etc. You can look at, you can move to the from one result to another result. This is all there on their website. You can download the slides from their slides. You can, I talked about all these additional filters I have shown you. Okay, so you can email. I've showed you how you can email. I've showed you how to use the advanced search. Okay, using author, and I've showed you how this is also done online. Okay, I've showed you how this details also very important. Okay, uh, this you can look at the number of items found. I showed you. Okay, so these are again ways to kind of look at various articles. So start with last name. I told you why author can be difficult, because I looked at Nimbalkar SM and Nimbalkar S, both had different number of articles. Okay, so this we have talked about. Okay, let's skip all this. Again, most of these things we have looked at. Okay, so you can look at this. You can look at how to different citation that can be. So unless you play, I have showed you how to save email citations or not. Say it's something called as saving the search, and you can create alerts. You can do that in Google Scholar also. You can do it in PubMed also. But what do you mean by creating alerts? Suppose I'm searching for kangaroo mother care. There are already 300, 500 articles that are there in my list. Tomorrow, if some new KMC paper gets published, automatically email will come to my email ID saying that a new article has been published. So I can go and read the article. So you can have this alert set, and you can have the alerts to be sent daily, weekly, or even monthly. Okay, so these are various number of papers, etc. We have discussed all this. So we have looked at how to have the search builder. One thing which I did not show you, you can combine all this. You can put pain, you can put Nimbalkar, and you can put KMC. And instead of adding that separately, where you can say fracture 1 and fracture 2 and fracture 3, automatically it'll combine all those three words. Okay, there's something which you should be able to do. Okay, I talked about medical subject headings, how it is done, etc. I showed you how it is done. Okay, this we have discussed, and I showed you how it is used. Again, various medical subject headings, so we'll not go into details of this. Again, how it is done, etc. So, but I showed you how it works, so I will not go into details. I talked about how it works. There's something called automatic term mapping. We looked at kangaroo and kangaroos. Automatically it gets done. I will skip all these slides because I don't think we need to do that. And I will show a little bit on all these are available on PubMed. I will show you how to use Scopus. Okay. Stop share. I have to exit this. Okay. Now we are at 9 o'clock, so I'll just maybe do 5 minutes more, and then we can stop. You can see my Firefox now. So what I'm going to do now is you can see here Scopus. Okay, Scopus is a website. So Scopus is a part of Elsevier. Scopus.com. So I've reached id elsevier.com. Okay, now as you can see over here, this says I am logged in as Somshekhar Nimbarkar, and I have access to this website because I'm an editor on an Elsevier journal. As an editor on Elsevier journal, I get access to Scopus. And so what does that give you? It gives you access to all the journals that Elsevier has and various things in various places, and you can search for it. Now you want to search within article, abstract, art keywords, you can search documents. So let's search this for, we were looking at neonatal pain. It, you can see 8,534 documents. If I were to do the same one in PubMed, okay, neonatal pain, okay, 15,506. Okay, but you get access to a large number of full papers. So it gives you lots of details which are there. All right, so this is one. You can see this. And again, on the left-hand side, it is similar. Timeline, subject area, article review, etc., so on and so forth. Cochrane database of systematic reviews, various journals, and so on and so forth. So that is one way. Let's go to Google Scholar, another place where we can use. You can see Google Scholar. Again, you can see I'm logged in through my ID. Okay, here also you can do neonatal pain. And see this 14 lakhs 90,000 results. All right, so it's a large number, and so it's really difficult to do a search on this particular place. What you can use this for is you do a search in PubMed or in Scopus. You don't get a particular article full text. You can take that and post it over here, and you might get a full text. Sometimes you can post it on Google only, and you might get a full text from some other places. So it's possible that somebody has posted the full text for you. So Google has other facilities. It can take you to your profile, and so if you have your own profile, it automatically logs in your particular own papers for you. So this is all our papers which we have published over a period of time, in the line either by cited by how many times or by the year when they were published. So you can see various papers that are published in 2024 in the last. So some 4 papers have been published in the last 4 months. Okay, 2 months. So that's that. So you can use this. You can use, I think, so apart from Zotero, if you want to pay money, you can buy a software which is called as EndNote, or you can use the cracked version if you want. But I have not used EndNote. I used EndNote maybe 10 years back, but after that we have been using Zotero. There is Mendeley, and there are various other software. Today, during literature review, I have not talked about using artificial intelligence for literature search. Somebody might ask you whether we should be using Chat GPT. Chat GPT cannot be used for literature search because it is restricted amount of data that is available there. All right, so With that, I think I will stop and hand back to Dipen.
Thank you so much, sir, for elaborative, informative session on how to go ahead about the literature search using common platforms like PubMed, Scopus, Google Scholar, using Zotero also. I think the session is open for the questions. So, students, if you have a question or query, you may ask directly to Somsekhar sir. You may write in the chat box also. So meanwhile, sir, I have a question. Suppose if we need one article which is not available free of in the literature search. So how can we go to find out that article? Can we take help of our friends?
Yeah, so one of the commonest things that we do, because we have a lot of postgrad students who are passed out on our, we have a group for our alumni. So many of them are in the US or UK or Australia. So most common thing is we just put it in the WhatsApp saying that कि मुझे ये article चाहिए and with the details. Some of the other person who is the student, etc., will usually send you the article maybe by next day or so. मैं एक वेबिनार में, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay. So that's the most easiest thing. Second way, you can write to the author. I get many requests on ResearchGate saying that uh, we can. I want this particular article, and can you share it? So I commonly share the article via email or whatever. People who ask me. Suppose I'm bad at replying to emails, because Dipen is one of my co-investigators. People can write to Dipen saying that कि सर का आर्टिकल नहीं मिल रहा है, can you ask me, can you ask him to uh, what do you say, send it. So that is another way of doing it. All right. So and there are websites which there are people. I don't use Telegram so much, but I know that there are Telegram channels where you can ask for articles and people will give it to you. So that I do know, but I have not used it.
Okay.
So I think that's it. Yeah.
Second question I have, sir. Suppose we want to write some meta-analysis or do some exhaustive review. So
Hmm.
if we want to collect exhaustive articles on some of the randomized controlled trials,
Hmm.
so PubMed will not be enough.
Hmm.
So many websites need to be tracked and information will be gathered. So is there any way uh, can we do, because it is costly affair to do systematic review, pulling out many research articles and maybe time consuming. So do you have any something idea about how to go ahead to collect majority of the articles published in the literature, which may not be
There
available to us?
there is no shortcut. It's the same thing. Google Scholar, PubMed, Embase, Scopus, Cochrane Central, Sinhel. So you will have to list when you do when you publish, when you have to register your systematic review on Prisma. You'll have to tell what sources you're going to search, and you have to go and search the sources. So what many people do is they tie up with an international author or international librarian who has access to this, and kind of get the article. So there is no other way apart from writing. Not what do you say? There's no other way other than writing to authors and getting a librarian on board, or requesting friends from abroad. Or you can write to or you can pay $50 for the article, which I don't think anyone pays,
Right.
not even in the US. So I do know that people in the US, so there are people in so there is the research papers on this. People in the US who have access to the articles in their library. Okay, they will not go through the library to get that article because it involves 2-3 steps. Instead, they will go to a website website which sends uh,